Hi, I'm Courtney James, and I'm here with Patrick Cruickshank, the CEO and director of 9 Mile Metals. Patrick, thank you so much for coming this morning.
Well, thank you for inviting me. I'm glad to be back.
So I'm really glad that you could come and chat a little bit about the news release that you put out yesterday. It was an interesting one. You were explaining how you've engaged GEMTEC and you've completed the 9 Mile Brook lens bulk sample baseline sampling. I was just hoping you could talk a little bit more about that and what that means to the project.
Yeah, we're very excited. We're full steam ahead on our bulk sample project. We have to bring in engineers that were recommended by the government of New Brunswick, mining and engineering. And GEMTEC did a great job. They came in on September 8th, did their site visit. They also did their water and sediment sampling in 6 locations. And what that is getting the baseline for the rivers and the soils with the elements, the minerals and mineralization. And then we have a level for that. And then after we extract the bulk sample, then we compare. They'll do another sample, and then they'll compare, and that'll be part of the reclamation process and it should be very, very minimal, if at all, because it's just a small bulk sample at surface. And it's, as you've been there, it's open and exposed, and there's no real footprint there to worry about. So we're very, very excited.
That's awesome. So they come in and they, test and sample everything like that, and then they have to help recommend who's going to come in and work in the area.
Well, what happens is they've sent the samples to the labs. We're just awaiting those results, and that'll be our baseline. The next steps is right now, GEMTEC, again, is designing the engineering plan for the extraction bulk sample. And we submit that to the government for approval. Once that's approved, we can start extracting. We are currently right now engaging the vendors, the excavation company, so on, for doing the extraction of the bulk sample, and designing that, because we're making the smallest footprint we can possible. We're not going to have a big open pit. We're going to have a very, very tight trench, so it's the best for the environment. We're also engaged right now negotiating with 5 to 6 smelters for where we're going to ship the bulk sample for processing. So there's a lot going. This has been going on for several months. There's a lot going on, a lot of moving parts, and permits and approvals that we're going through, but we're almost there.
That's exciting. And so what would be the financial benefit to 9 Mile Metals to do this bulk sample, and what could potentially be there?
Well, it's interesting. Bulk samples are really a mini one-time mining process, right? So you're actually producing the concentrate and the minerals. So we have such a high grade, it's a double-sided sword. We have a very high grade lens, and with that is a very high price for our extraction and our ore. I think the report from RPC that we press released said we're around 21%, which is extremely, extremely high for the concentrate of the lead, zinc, silver, copper, and gold. And we have indium as well, which is very unique. Indium is a high-tech mineral, almost like a rare earth, that's used for technology. So we're not sure where that falls in, and we haven't calculated any kind of proceeds based on that. But so right now, high-grade ores like that is getting anywhere up to $3,300 US per ton.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a very high financial reward. So, and obviously we don't have all the costs yet calculated for the budget, because we're getting our bids right now for the excavators, and depending on which smelter, because there's 5 to 6 smelters we're talking to and negotiating with right now. Once we sign the contract with one of them, they're in Canada, they're out of Canada, so we have to ship the ore to them raw. So and it's called bulk direct shipping. So it's either by sea to Newfoundland or the East Coast in the US, or we're going to do it by rail in Canada. So we don't have that data right now, and the cost on that data for the shipping, but yeah, it's obviously very lucrative for us to be able to do this.
That's amazing. And so is the intention to execute the bulk sample this upcoming winter season?
That's ideal, and that's what our goal is to do the extraction when the ground's frozen. It's at surface, so it's very easy logistically, but with any kind of creeks and access, as you see when you're here, it's very much full of trees and the woods out in the camp. And in the winter, obviously, there's no brush, the ground's frozen, it's very easy access in and out, and it's the least invasive as well, right? So if it's raining, the ground's wet, the trucks aren't making a mess, it's going to be on snow. So it's actually the easiest, cheapest, because it's off season, but also the cleanest way to do it. And because it's solid rock, we're already at bedrock at surface. It's just excavate the ore right from the lens that's sticking its head out of the ground. So it's that's the best time. And then there's no water issues, there's no runoff, there's no creeks, everything's frozen. So it's the best, cleanest, most environmental time to do it.
Wow.
But as soon as we get our permits, we'll be rushing ahead on that.
And how many tons do you anticipate will be in the sample?
Well, again, our goal, we can do up to 3,000 tons.
Okay.
Right. So anything more than that, you're really not doing a bulk sample anymore. It's more of a mining
Mine.
expedition. But yeah, so but again, because it's Mother Nature and it's hidden, but it's a vertical lens, so it should be very easy to do the trench and excavate it with very, very small. And we may have to put some steel barriers in the trench so it doesn't collapse. But once we excavate the ore, yeah, it's right in the dump trucks, and we're off.
Wow.
So yeah, it's a it's very commonly done here with most of the mining companies. But yeah, if 3,000 tons, 2,000, once we get the excavation going, we'll know the shape of the body and so on, shape of the lens, and if there's any issues with, we may have to extend it, we may go wider. We'll just have to see how it looks underground.
That's great. Very cool. This will be very cool to follow up with. So what should investors and those following the story look forward to in the next, couple of weeks with news flow here?
Well, specifically on this project, which is a high priority for us, we are awaiting the engineering plan. The excavation plan should be the next 2 weeks or so. We're waiting for that from GEMTEC, and we'll obviously announce that once we get it and review it and see the recommendations. We'll submit that for permit, and once we get that permit approved, it's our time frame. So we're doing this a little early, but anticipation for doing this in the fall/winter. So it would be a very lucrative project for us, obviously.
That's amazing. Well, Patrick, thank you so much for sharing a little bit about yesterday's news release and giving us some things to look forward to in the weeks and months to come.
Thank you. We'll get an update as soon as possible.
Okay, sounds good. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, Courtney.